What's up everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. Last time, we began a scenario that's kind of different from the other ones that I've done before. This one is a lot more character driven, and you'll be seeing more of that in this part too. Last time we saw what happened when Trunks died in the future, with Future Gohan surviving. It ended with Gohan finally going back to the past, ready to reverse everything, fixing what the androids have done. But how is that actually going to go here, with all the differences so far? What's going to change and how is Gohan going to do it? We'll be discussing all that and more in this part. For this video, let's set a like goal of 3,500 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part of the series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. Gohan travels through time, going to another timeline. He ends up in the past, or at least what he assumes is the past of his timeline. Of course, they still don't know that these are two separate timelines yet. But either way, Gohan's glad it worked. He looks around. He's in the middle of nowhere, but not too far away there is a city, and it seems completely intact. And those powers that he senses, nearby, he could feel it. Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, everyone, all those powers that he sensed a while ago, presences that he hasn't felt in so long. It's a bit overwhelming. He realizes too, he's gonna see all these people again, all these people from his past that have died in the future. It's not just Trunks. He lost all these people so long ago, and he'll finally get to see them again, even if it isn't really his version of them. But he's prepared. He knew he'd encounter this, and he's excited. Being able to finally see his father again, as well as everyone else, his teacher Piccolo, other friends like Krillin, all those people there in that group. Gohan heads off. Thankfully here, unlike Trunks, he doesn't have to keep his identity secret. He can be completely clear about everything, who he is, why he's here, and what's happened. Although, he does need to hide the fact that Trunks exists, because otherwise, it might jeopardize his existence here. Which is good, because he doesn't really want to talk about it anyways, but he's gonna have to omit that info. He flies over to where he senses the group, sensing a ship arriving towards Earth too. This is Mecha Frieza and King Cold. He already knew to expect this, and he knows that Goku will end up defeating him. He witnessed it firsthand after all. But this time, Gohan will be the one to do it. He shows up, and the group watches on from afar, seeing one person facing Mecha Frieza and King Cold alone. They actually think it's Goku. From far away, they see a man in an orange outfit. It has to be him. His hair looks shorter, but they can't really see anything else from here. Although something's weird about his energy. It's suppressed right now, but it doesn't feel like Goku. And then he powers up, transforming into a Super Saiyan. It has to be him. That has to be Goku. But it's still strange. His hair, okay, that's one thing. He might have just cut it. But that energy isn't Goku's. It feels like Gohan's. Or at least very similar to that. Future Gohan easily defeats Frieza and King Cold, wasting no time eliminating them. The group goes over, trying to figure out what's happening here. And as they get closer, they see, this isn't Goku. He does look like him. But it becomes even more confusing because he looks actually more like Gohan, if anything. That explains his power too, it felt like Gohan's. They want to know what's going on here. They don't know who this is. But Future Gohan simply says they've already explained it themselves. He is Gohan. Wait, what? Yeah, he explains. He's Gohan from the future. But before he explains everything else, he wants to wait for Goku to get here, just so everyone's caught up to the same spot. Goku eventually does get on Earth. After sensing this power, he's amazed. He sensed Gohan's ki transform. Like it was Gohan going Super Saiyan. He didn't know what it was and it didn't make sense. How did Gohan get Super Saiyan? He's just a kid. But it's not Gohan, or at least not his Gohan. Future Gohan barely even knows how to react. Looking around, he sees Goku after so long. He sees Piccolo. He sees himself. And he's happy. He says he's glad to see everyone again. It is a bit strange, but more so nice if anything. Wait, why'd he phrase it like that? He begins going into detail. Everyone in the future, besides him obviously, is dead. Of course, there are some other survivors. Bulma's one of them, for example. But he begins talking about everything that's happened so far. First of all, he mentions the heart virus. Goku succumbs to this, dying before everyone else. And then the androids attack. He fills everyone in on all the details, telling them everything besides the fact that Trunks existed. But he tells them this can all be prevented. If they can figure out a way to stop the androids, or at least train beforehand for them, that'll be fine. And in terms of Goku's issue, all he needs is this medicine. He's given the heart virus medicine, and Gohan tells him to make sure to take it. As soon as he starts feeling a symptom for it, he needs to utilize this. Oh, and there's also another thing. Yeah, he can go Super Saiyan, but that's not his highest level in power. Wait, what? Super Saiyan's not his highest level? It's surprising the fact that he can even go Super Saiyan in the first place. Vegeta's stunned. The fact that two Super Saiyans exist. And President Gohan is elated. He has Super Saiyan in the future, and something even beyond that too. And Gohan tells him, he has no idea what this is, but for now he just refers to it as Super Saiyan 2, a level beyond the current level of Super Saiyan, or at least the level of Super Saiyan that he had. He tells him it was unlocked through intense emotion. He can't really clarify why, and he tries to avoid the question when asked, but all he knows is that it was unlocked through this. After so much time with intense training, And due to his great potential as a hybrid Saiyan, and a Saiyan in general, he theorized that all these factors together led to him getting this form. And without further ado, he decides to show it off. He goes Super Saiyan, and then powers up on top of that. And just from him powering up into Super Saiyan alone, they could tell his power's intense. He was holding back against Frieza, like a lot. And not just this form, but like his regular Super Saiyan in general, that's incredibly powerful. He said he's become very efficient with it, to the point where it doesn't drain too much stamina. Eventually, Goku could probably get to this level. Same for Vegeta and probably his past self too, because they should be able to unlock this form as well. But furthermore, he goes beyond that. Sparks of electricity form around him. His power surges further, and he shows off Super Saiyan 2. The strength of this, it's terrifying. But if the androids were an issue in the future, and he had this power, how are they supposed to defeat them? Well, Gohan says that's the thing. He only was able to defeat them once he got this power. And even then, he was one person, and he was also injured while doing so. If anyone, even just one fighter, like Goku for example, can unlock this power, the androids won't be a problem. Or if they stop the androids beforehand somehow. Although, they opt to let the androids live. Gohan doesn't really like this idea, but he gets why they're doing it because it serves as a motivator, and for all they know, things could go wrong in another way. It's better to have this motivation to get stronger. And Gohan says that's basically everything, but before he goes, Goku stops him. He tells Gohan, he didn't really come all this way just to do that, right? Like, he has to stay for at least a bit. Gohan's not sure what he means, but Goku wants to test out his power. He can tell that Super Saiyan 2 is strong. And he's definitely not going to win a battle against Gohan. But if he wants to fight, just spar for a little bit, that might be fun. And Gohan, he doesn't really know how to react, but he chuckles. Yeah, he would like that. It's been so long since he's seen Goku after all. So he goes back into Super Saiyan. He warns Goku though. He knows what Goku's strength is like, and he knows how Goku fights. He also knows about that instant transmission technique and such, having seen it firsthand a while ago. And Goku says that makes things more interesting. He's gonna be at a handicap. Gohan is stronger and knows everything about him. He doesn't know too much about this Gohan. The two of them briefly spar, and Goku's amazed at this guy's power. Is this really how strong Gohan can get? He knew Gohan had this power within him, but to think that he got this powerful. Future Gohan ends up winning the fight, and Goku's content. He tells Gohan, in a few years once he's back, he'll be much stronger, and they're gonna have to have a rematch, at least once the androids are defeated. Gohan gets in the time machine, saying his goodbyes to everyone. It was nice seeing them, but he reminds them, don't mess up here. They're at an advantage now. They have something that he didn't have before. They know that the androids are coming. He says he'll be back in 3 years to make sure everything goes okay, and until then, he wishes them farewell. And Gohan now has a newfound sense of hope. After seeing everything in the past, even though he went through all that trauma with Trunks and everything, he feels reinvigorated, like he's gonna do something good. For all he knows, this might not work at all. Maybe his timeline is gonna stay the same, but regardless, he's at least helping them out. He doesn't know what this is, an alternate timeline, his actual past, or something else. But he got to see everyone again, and he's helping out here. He might have not been able to prevent Trunks' death, but he can prevent more. More death and destruction will be stopped because of him. He returns home. The future timeline continues to be rebuilt, and Gohan spends time training. He actually goes out of solitude even more. And Bulma's glad to see this change within him. She understands how hard it was for him to lose Trunks. I mean, look at her. She was Trunks' mother. But it's good to see that Gohan's healing, finally. And especially great that the time machine actually worked. Maybe things will go well, and maybe they could bring Trunks back. Maybe they could bring everyone else back. But she doesn't want to get too ahead of herself, although she does have hope. Eventually, Gohan does head back to the past. So, what's been happening here in the meantime? Well, training's been very different. After learning about Super Saiyan 2, yeah, the Saiyans are going to be aiming for this. Of course, Vegeta still wants to get Super Saiyan for himself. I mean, he doesn't even have that yet. And if anything, this serves as more of a motivator. Not only do Kakarot and his son have Super Saiyan, but they even have something beyond that. At least Gohan does. And Vegeta needs to go beyond that. He needs to one-up them somehow. Of course, he's behind because he needs to get Super Saiyan first. But who cares? He'll do this in any way possible. Goku trains to ascend Super Saiyan, while also trying to get Gohan to access it in general. They are focused on getting stronger, but this is their main focus right now. It's like what Future Gohan said. If someone has Super Saiyan 2, they'll win against the androids no problem. And Vegeta, he actually ends up staying here, training with Goku and Gohan. Something he despises and thought he'd never do, but it's the best way to get Super Saiyan after all, using Kakarot's knowledge, and Kakarot is the best training partner after all. He loathes the idea of training alongside him, but maybe it'll be for the best. It's the only way for him to get ahead. Of course, he won't be able to get ahead if he doesn't know where Kakarot is in terms of power. Enemy or not, it's best to keep Kakarot close. After all this time, eventually androids 19 and 20 show up. And with how intense all this training was, it actually brought the heart virus on earlier. All this physical stress actually accelerated it. Which means the symptoms showed up earlier, and Goku had to take the medicine earlier. meaning he's actually cured now, and he can fight to his heart's content. No pun intended. Goku takes on Android 19, while Vegeta takes on Android 20. And surprisingly, Vegeta transforms into his Super Saiyan as well, showing it off to the androids. He actually has a much better grasp on here. Training with Kakarot was for the best. Of course, he didn't really like it at first, but the two of them are Saiyans after all. Training together is the best option for them. They still haven't figured out how to go beyond Super Saiyan. I mean, Goku's made some sort of progress because he knows what he's trying to aim for. And he has become a lot more efficient with it, but it's not like he's at grade 4 or anything. Either way though, Vegeta's content. These two battles happen simultaneously, with each of the androids being defeated, without any issue really. Besides the fact that Goku doesn't have the heart virus here, there's also the fact that he's much stronger. Androids 19 and 20 aren't a problem, and it seems like that's that. They just defeated the androids, right? That's all they needed. They're elated, and Gohan should be here anytime soon, or the future Gohan. The other Gohan is here right now, and we will get into him later to see what he's been up to. But for now, everyone waits around for future Gohan to show up, and not too long after the androids are defeated, he does appear. He asks if everything went okay, and as they explain more and more, he realizes things aren't right here. Those weren't the two androids he fought, but if they killed them, maybe it's okay. But they still need to find where androids 17 and 18 are, the ones from his timeline. But before they do anything, he needs to talk to Bulma. First of all, she might be able to help them find the lab, but more importantly, he wants to see for himself if Trunks exists here. And sure enough, he does. He sees Trunks as a baby, and they notice Gohan looks saddened for some reason, but he doesn't explain why. Once again, he just dodges any questions. He pretends to be surprised to see Vegeta and Bulma have a child. Although the way he reacts is a little bit suspicious and people could see. Well, not many of them pick up on it, but Piccolo and Goku notice. Something's odd about how he's acting. He never mentioned Trunks before, and he definitely would have known. Trunks was born before the androids showed up, so he should know about him, right? They'll ask him about it later. They don't know why he's hiding any info or if he is at all, but something just seems a little off. Either way, they decide now it's time to find the other androids. They're able to locate Dro's lab, and thankfully, the other androids are there and they're not even activated yet. And Gohan's ready to destroy the lab. Seeing them immediately makes him angry. He says they need to destroy everything here, before it's too late. Although Krillin steps in. Maybe they could do something else. Maybe they could program the androids to be different. And Gohan stops himself. He does want to destroy everything, but yeah, maybe Krillin's right. And he considers it. As much as he hates the androids, he's got to consider. These two aren't the androids from his future. They actually haven't done anything yet. And from what they could see from everything in the lab, and all the blueprints that they found and all the plans from Gero, these two were actually kidnapped, made to be this way, against their will actually. Wow, Gohan actually never knew all that about the androids. They were terrible people in his timeline, and regardless of their history, he knows that they deserved what was coming to them. After all the destruction they caused, regardless of whether they were kidnapped or not and put into this role forcefully, they willingly committed all those acts. That was out of their own accord. There was no Gero there guiding them, but it must have been something with their programming too. Or maybe that's inherent to their nature, who knows. But again, these androids aren't the ones from his future. They haven't done anything yet. So reluctantly, he agrees, and they take the androids back to Bulma. But of course, immediately after they do so, Gohan destroys everything in the lab. And I mean everything. He doesn't even know about the basement, but that gets destroyed too. Everything is completely eviscerated, with no hope of recovery. Okay, well, all seems settled here. Hopefully reprogramming the androids goes well, but he trusts that they'll be okay. Even if Bulma can't do that, well, they have ways to dispose of the androids. Although before he leaves, he does want to test everyone's powers. It's kind of like what Goku did before. And he asks, would they like to spar? I mean, it's not so often that he gets to see everyone here. And he's actually kind of glad that Trunks is here in this timeline. But still, you gotta remember, there's also the attachment that he has to people like Goku. He might as well stay here still. By now he's already realized, this is a completely separate timeline. Anything he does here won't affect his timeline, which kinda sucks, but he's gonna have to live with it. And like I mentioned before, he's glad to help out at least. Even if this doesn't change the things for him, well, he's preventing more destruction, and his timeline's at peace as far as he knows. So he might as well pay it forward. Even if he couldn't save his version of Trunks, his version of Goku, his version of Piccolo, or anyone else, he could save these ones, and he could preserve their future. Goku's definitely up for the fight, and the two of them go at it again. Goku is clearly much stronger, getting a much better grasp on Super Saiyan. And much to Gohan's surprise, Vegeta had Super Saiyan as well, even sparring with the Prince. But then he looks over to his past self. He definitely seems much stronger than before, actually a lot stronger than Gohan was at this point in his own timeline. He looks to his past self. He wants to see what he's got. Gohan's a bit nervous. He knows his future self is strong, but yeah, this would definitely be cool, fighting his future self. Future Gohan says he won't transform for this, getting ready for the fight, and then much to his surprise, past Gohan transforms, going into his Super Saiyan. Wait, what? He was holding back because he thought he couldn't go Super Saiyan. His past self could already do that? Gohan thanks his future self. Had he not shown up here and given all the tips that he had before, the course of his training would have been very different, if he would have even trained at all. He doesn't have a really good grasp on this form yet, but he has it, and Future Gohan's amazed. His past self might even be better than him. Of course, in terms of strength, he's so far ahead of his past self, and his past self's not even close to Goku or Vegeta in terms of strength. But still, the fact that he has Super Saiyan this early on, it catches Gohan off guard. He has a fight with his past self, glad to see how much he's grown. And it makes him happy. During the fight, it's kind of reminiscent of his battles with Trunks, all the times they sparred together. Even though it's himself, he sees a lot of Trunks in his past self. I mean, it only makes sense. He kind of was the one to help raise Trunks. It was really him and Bulma doing that, guiding him down the right path. So it's only natural for his kid self to have some similarities to Trunks. He has a weird mix of emotion from this, sadness, happiness, but also he has the desire to protect his past self. He wants to see this past Gohan succeed, not just because it's him, but because he sees Trunks in him. And he's happy. All those feelings of anxiety and sadness before, they go away. Seeing this is what he was working for. Not just the past Trunks being here too, but this Gohan. He preserved this Gohan's future. He didn't have to go through all the turmoil that he did. And he makes a remark to Gohan. Be sure to train Trunks into a fine warrior. It kind of confuses present Gohan, but Future Gohan just plays it off saying, well, he's a hybrid Saiyan. The two of them should stick together, they are pretty similar after all. He never really had that experience. At least he pretends he didn't. And Gohan is going to stick around for a bit more, but Goku and Piccolo are still curious. What had happened in the future? He's acting so strange now. They're not suspicious like he's hiding anything bad, they just feel like he's hiding something. There's some sort of sadness about him, beyond the obvious stuff that they do know. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. So what did you guys think about this part? Or what do you think is going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I would sure check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we get another part of the series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to be notified about any future parts of the series or any other videos I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.